Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Koa'ki Meiru Yugioh deck profile for post Rise of the Duelist. With the release of Rise of the Duelist, we got a new Koa'ki Meiru card called Koaki Meiru Supplier, which definitely did help with the overall playstyle of the Koaki Meiru deck. I also decided to take this deck in the direction of the more level 4 control variant. I'm not running Koaki Meiru Maximus in this version, I found it a lot more consistent, just focusing on the level 4 rock monsters and a few other Koaki Meirus to help with the overall playstyle of the deck, which is just to keep a bunch of the different Koaki Meiru monsters out on the field and stop your opponent's plays with their ability to negate the effects of those monsters by attributing them out and special summoning out a bunch of other different Koaki Meiru monsters. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the new Koaki Meiru monster, I am running 3 Koaki Meiru Supplier. If a face-up rock monster you control is sent to the graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned, you can add from your deck to your hand 1 Iron Core of Koaki Meiru, or 1 card that specifically lists Iron Core of Koaki Meiru in its text, except for Koaki Meiru Supplier. You can only use each effect of Koaki Meiru Supplier once per turn, but that search power and the fact that you special summon this card gives you another resource on the field and gives you search power for pretty much anything in the deck, since all of these cards specify Iron Core Koaki Meiru. So you have a good search for most of the monsters and all of the spells that you run in the deck that focus on Koaki Meiru. So 3 Supplier is definitely needed. It's just a great option to extend your plays on the field, but also give you more and more search into your hand as well. For some of the other Koaki Meiru monsters, I also run 3 Koaki Meiru Guardian. During each of your end phases, destroy this card unless you send 1 Iron Core Koaki Meiru from your hand to the graveyard, or reveal 1 rock monster in your hand. When a monster effect is activated, quick effect, you contribute this card to negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that monster. So just the option to destroy your opponent's monsters with a quick effect, and then also negate the effect as well. When a monster effect is activated, it's just all that power from Guardian that definitely does come in handy later on during your games against your opponent. I decided to run 3 of this card since monster effects are the most common thing you see when playing against opponents compared to spell and traps. They're still both viable, but just running 3 of this because monster effects are definitely the ones you'll see the most in a good amount of your games. So just having 3 of it for that option, definitely needed for sure. I do love the new ones we received from the Secret Slayers with the updated text as well, and finally getting some foil versions for a bunch of other Koaki Meiru monsters, including Koaki Meiru Overload, which I'm also running 3 of. During each of your end phases, destroy this card unless you send 1 Iron Core Koaki Meiru from your hand to the graveyard, or reveal 1 rock monster, which is great because we also run a majority of the Koaki Meiru monsters being rock monsters, so you can always reveal these cards to keep them on the field as well. When your opponent would summon a monster, quick effect, you contribute this card to negate the summon if you do destroy that monster. So being able to stop monster effects is one thing with Guardian. Being able to stop the summon of a monster with Overload makes it all the better, which is why I'm running max copies of all these cards, because then you have options for then special summoning out Slayer onto the field, giving you more and more searches for your resources. And if you don't have the card in your hand, to reveal for the rock monster, Supplier basically does what the name says, supplying you those resources for your cards on the field also. And then also for the last of the 3 ofs, I run 3 Koaki Meiru Ironite. During each of your end phases, destroy this card unless you send 1 Iron Core Koaki Meiru from your hand to the graveyard, or reveal 1 Beast Warrior type monster from your hand. Once per turn, you can reveal 1 Iron Core Koaki Meiru in your hand to special summon 1 level 4 lower Koaki Meiru monster from your deck, except for Ironite. So this is just an easy special summon resource to get out onto the field using Ironite, and then just having all the different options for the Koaki Meiru monsters, which I spoke of already, out onto the field that much quicker. It makes Ironite a definite 3 of. The only thing is you can't Ties to the Brethren in this card since it is a Beast Warrior monster, and you can't reveal it for the other Koaki Meirus, and you can't keep it alive unless you have another Ironite in your hand. It is one of the strongest, but the fact that it's not a rock monster is the one weakness of this card, but still a 3 of for sure in any Koaki Meiru deck. For some of the 2 ofs that I run for the monsters, I run 2 Koaki Meiru Wall, basically being the effect negation again, just with spell cards. By tributing this card, negate the activation. It's a rock monster once again, tying up with all the other Koaki Meirus that we're running for the reveals of those monsters, but just being able to negate spells is a big help for sure when you're in those situations against your opponent, and just being able to easily set this card up on the field makes it all the better. The same with Koaki Meiru Sandman. I don't see Sandman as an option usually as much as as some of the other ones, but it still helps to negate some trap cards, especially cards like evenly matched. If your opponent tries to use evenly matched, you have Sandman on the field, just being able to tribute it to stop that card makes it a true powerhouse in that line for sure. And there are still a good amount of traps you may go up against with your opponent. That Sandman will definitely help to protect you from those situations. And as one final rock monster in the deck, I like to run the 3 Block Dragon. Now, this can be either Block Dragon or Nibiru, since they're both rock monsters as a viable search in the deck. Block Dragon just helps because with the send effect, you can set up plenty of searches for all of your different Koa'ki Meiru monsters to add into your hand. And you just need to banish Earth monsters to summon this card, so you can even banish Ironite if you need to with this card. You just can't search Ironite off of it since it only searches rock monsters, but that's still a good amount of the cards in the deck. But once again, player preference if you wanted to run Block Dragon, or you could put Nibiru in for this final spot also. And that is it for the monsters, trying to stay as pure to a Koaki Meiru build, just for the easiest search and control for all of those cards. For the spells, I'm running 3 Iron Core of Koaki Meiru, definitely one of the most important spells in the deck, since it focuses on a lot of the different Koaki Meiru cards we have, including Ironite, and just being able to send this card to keep your Koaki Meirus alive on the field. During your draw phase, if this card's in your graveyard, you can add this card from your hand instead of conducting your normal draw phase, and or send one Koaki Meiru monster from your hand to the graveyard to add this card to your hand. So you have the option to always have this card in your hand, which is definitely useful for a lot of our different plays. You definitely want to run 3 of this card, always have that option to search it to your hand as well. That's why I run 3 of it, so we always have this card available to that option. But we have plenty of search power in the deck as well, in the form of Diamond Core of Koaki Meiru. You add 1 Koaki Meiru card from your deck to your hand, except for Diamond Core of Koaki Meiru. So you can even search Iron Core with this card, or any of the other spell or traps that list Koaki Meiru in it, but being able to search that or any of our monsters with this card makes it a true powerhouse. And from the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard for the rest of this turn. Koaki Meiru monsters you control cannot be destroyed. And it doesn't specify from your opponent's card effects, it also means your own, so you don't have to use the reveal for your Koaki Meiru monsters while they're on the field. They'll just stay alive based on the protection of Diamond Core on the field also, making it that much more vital in the deck also. And I also run 3 Ties of the Brethren. This is just an easy special summon card. If you control 1 Koaki Meiru, being able to special summon all the other different options out onto the field, with one of my favorite plays being this initial setup, because with these cards on the field, you can't special summon for the rest of the turn, but you have an effect negation for trap, monster effect, and also spell, all ready to go up on the field, depending on what your opponent might try to dish out on you. And if you have the supplier in your hand, which you can easily search with Diamond Core, you have that easy special summon to rely on when one of them is sent to give you more and more resources to your hand as well for next turn. So 3 of this card definitely needed for that search power initially for your first turn also. For additional protection, since we are running a majority of rock monsters in the deck, I run 2 Catapult Zone. Once per turn, if a monster you control will be destroyed by battle, you can send 1 rock-type monster from your deck to the graveyard instead. So to protect those Koaki Meiru monsters on the field, you can send Block Dragon to the graveyard, protecting them, and then if you have the resources to banish and special summon Block Dragon onto the field for the protection of your other monsters, making it all the stronger with this field spell. I also run the 1 Terraforming to search it out. I don't like to run 3 Catapult Zone, just more of a dead draw that way, but having the 2 and the 1 Terraforming means I can easily search out and thin the deck, but have the option to add it into my hand quicker to use to protect all of my rock monsters I control by sending more rock monsters also. In Catapult Zone, just if a monster I control be destroyed, you can still send a rock monster, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a rock monster on the field, so you can even protect cards like Koaki Meiru Ironite on the field also. And then for some of the other one-ofs in the deck, I run 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is great for the Block Dragon setup in the graveyard as well. And Monster Reborn just special summons any resources you need back onto the field also. And lastly, 1 Double or Nothing. I do run a good amount of rank 4s in the extra deck, with one of the setups being the Utopia the Lightning play as well. So just like to rely on this card as an option to go into for those exceeds in the extra deck also. And that is it for the spells. When I move on to the traps, I run 2 Iron Core Luster. With this one, you reveal 1 Iron Core Koaki Meiru in your hand, negate the activation of your opponent's spell or trap, and if you do, destroy it. So just a great option for the special summon of your resources on the field by stopping your opponent's spell or traps by revealing 1 Iron Core of Koaki Meiru. That made that much easier with the deck by being able to search out Supplier as well. So having this as a good search for that Iron Core to negate cards against your opponent. It's not a Koaki Meiru card, so you can't search this card, but it's just one additional counter trap that I like to run the deck to have that option available to you. And I also run a small Solemn Core, just 2 Solemn Judgment and 1 Solemn Strike. It doesn't really conflict too much with Ties of the Brethren, just for the 2,000 life point, and then if you have the 1,500 to spare, it works very well. And then late game Solemn Judgment, the lower your life points, as long as you have plenty of monsters on the field to protect you, you can pay that life points against your opponent and easily stop more of their cards while your Koa'ki Meirus negate the ones that you have on the field to use. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the xjack. I run 1 Gallant Granite. Just the search power for this card in the deck, just needing 2 level 4 monsters, means that you can summon out your Koa'ki Meiru Ironite, use the effect by revealing the Diamond Core or Iron Core searching off of it, and then special summoning another Koa'ki Meiru onto the field, overlaying the 2 into Gallant Granite, and then detaching for the search of any of your Koa'ki Meirus in the deck, or even Block Dragon itself for a great Xyz for sure. I also run 1 Daigusto Emerald, 1 Gagaga Cowboy, 1 Tornado Dragon, 1 Gemnite Pearl for the rock monster option also for the cards in the deck, 1 number 41 Baguska, 1 Castel, the Sky Blaster, 1 Utopia, 1 Utopia Ray. Now I don't have Utopia Double, I don't remember where I put my copy of the card, so if you want to put it in for just an extra search for Double or Nothing, since that card specifically searches out that card, you can replace it with this Utopia Ray to go into Utopia the Lightning, or you can even take out the Gemnite Pearl for that slot as well. And for the Link monsters, I run 1 Asa the Earth Charmer. For all the different Earth monsters we run, it is a big help for sure. Same with Mrs. Radiant for the attack point boost, 1 Penistag for the Utopia the Lightning, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, and 1 Nightmare Unicorn to finish off the extra deck. And as I said before, our main go-to plays are very control-based, so just having Ties of the Brethren with whatever Koa'ki Meiru we set up gives you an excellent playstyle to stop your opponent's plays, and just being able to search out other cards with Diamond Core, with our main one now going for Supplier, because then when one of them is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card out, giving you additional searches onto the field, and going for the Gallant Granite play using our Ironite just makes it all the better, and search power with Block Dragon for whichever Koa'ki Meirus we need, because then just searching out Block Dragon itself and being able to summon one and have the resource in our hand to either special summon and give us more, or just keep the Koa'ki Meiru alive by revealing it makes it all the more powerful also. And that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.